Key point 1. Design thinking is a way to create meaning in your life. Today's workplace is in a state of continual flux. Companies are constantly evolving, becoming increasingly agile, and shifting faster to meet ever-changing demands. In this dynamic world, it is up to workers to define their success and satisfaction. With that, you can avoid sticking to a job that doesn't bring you joy. Management teams must work with their employees to find a suitable middle ground, and they should offer resources to develop an appropriate culture within the workplace. The culture needs to allow workers to feel comfortable with the fast-moving changes within their working environment as the business adapts to the developing demands of the market. Since we spend most of our time at work, we look to our jobs to provide us with meaning and impact. A dream work life is the responsibility of the company and each employee. As a worker, you can develop a strategy that emphasizes the meaning and impact of what you do. There's no point in waiting for changes to come by themselves. You have to act so that they finally happen. In this summary, you'll learn more about designing your life in a way that brings you contentment and joy, how to turn work into a place of strength and fulfillment. Why is it sometimes beneficial to set lower requirements for your position and the people around you? Here you'll find the answers to these questions. You'll also learn that quitting isn't necessarily bad or something you should automatically avoid. Following the advice here, you'll become happier, healthier, and more productive. Continue listening to learn more. Key point 2. Don't wait for happiness. Work toward your desires. Waiting for a happy place to appear magically is a futile effort. A better and higher-paying job only sometimes improves our lives. The point is whether we know how to appreciate what we have now and where we are going. If the work corresponds to our values and is a particular stage of our growth, it will bring satisfaction. But how can we know whether this specific activity is suitable for us? We should pay attention to our feelings. When we feel anger, irritation, and despair, it signals that we are not meeting our needs. To change this, we must act. Don't worry if you're not where you want to be. The job you have at the moment is a stepping stone. That doesn't mean you should make do with a job that doesn't fulfill you, but the grass isn't always greener. Of course, this way of thinking doesn't apply to situations where work completely exhausts you and is the cause of depression. But knowing what you're doing is okay for now and is a good way to reframe the situation. You take the first step toward change by rejecting useless complaints and accepting the circumstances. Yes, you might not have your dream job right now, but if you can work and make money, that's good news. Now you can think about how to improve the situation. What does it mean to reframe? It means labeling something differently. We need to know the difference between reframing in a positive way and a negative one. Simply stating how excellent, engaging, and well-paying your job is sufficient. Real change is needed to improve the situation. While this sounds like an enormous task, little effort is required. Small steps mean a lot. When you look for ideas to make work enjoyable, it means redesigning. To better understand this concept, imagine that you are renovating your home. First, you look around and assess the current condition. Next, think about what you would like to do. Repaint the walls, buy other furniture, or even rearrange the building. At the next stage, you bring your project to life. The same applies to redesigning life situations. Before creating new circumstances, see if you can improve the existing ones. Key point 3. Make the best of a poor situation by trying to change it. You probably know the expression, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade out of them. Sometimes making good out of a lousy situation works. For example, a vacation can fix the problem for a while if you feel burned out at work. But if you only make the best of a bad situation, it's still bad. Fundamental changes did not occur. Therefore, the essence of the problem remains. Of course, you will feel relief for a while, but it is like patching a hole in a pipe that will eventually leak anyway. Reframing means deeply analyzing the situation and rejecting strong emotions and exaggerations. Let's say you're considering leaving your job because you don't feel valued as a professional. You're overwhelmed with emotions and feelings, and your first impulse is to quit. Give yourself time for the emotions to subside somewhat. Then ask yourself, what is happening with me right now? What do I need? This question will help to look at the situation from another side and find a solution. You should not wait, but ask your boss for feedback on your work. You can even ask them to give you this feedback with some regularity. You will alter everything about your working life by deploying a new way of thinking. Although it may not be simple or quick, it will be rewarding and achievable. Another way is the set the bar low method, which says we need to start with small steps to achieve bigger goals. You can hardly write a book overnight, but writing 200 to 400 words per day sounds doable. To find satisfaction in what you do, set goals that you can achieve, execute, and repeat the procedure. The mindset of always striving for more often causes us to feel unfulfilled and miserable. Whenever we're chasing the most desirable job, car, house, or city, we never stop. Sometimes it's worth seeing the value in what you already have. Did you know? Long-term memory works best between 6 to 7 a.m. All the information received in this period is easily absorbed. Key point 4. Avoid using the wrong compass for your work and life. Do you value money over meaning in life? Many people struggle with this question, so what do you choose? There's no proper response because it is a false contradiction. Money and meaning are not mutually exclusive. They are various ways of measuring your values. Many people have high-profile jobs, but they don't feel fulfilled. Just because a job is prestigious doesn't mean it's automatically going to give you meaning in life. At the same time, you can find a lot of sense and fulfillment in work that only brings in little money. You can also have both money and meaning in work. Whichever you prefer between money and meaning is immaterial. What counts is coherent living, your values, and your life aligning to make you happy. Often, we live someone else's life without realizing it. We work 24/7 because our parents told us that only those with a successful career would gain recognition and respect from others. Ask yourself if you agree with this opinion. If not, then you are unlikely to feel satisfaction and inner peace. Start small, set the bar low, and try something. Bill Burnett. Your life is coherent if there's an agreement between your identity, beliefs, and actions. To build a cohesive life, you must formulate your work and life views. The work view is your ideas about what makes a job worthy or not. When crafting a work view, it is crucial to understand why you're working, your work's meaning, and how you impact others in society. A life view is your unique viewpoint on what gives life purpose and value. A life view is what helps us define what matters most. It answers existential questions. We want to know the purpose of our lives. To find our life compass, we need to analyze where we are now and define the point where we want to be. Did you know? A 2015 study by The Lancet found that people who work more than 55 hours per week have an increased risk of stroke by around 1.3 times more than those who stick to a standard working week. Key point 5. Develop a good mindset to feel fulfilled and engaged. When we feel as though we're in a rut in life, we often seek to blame other things or people around us. We don't need to shift the blame to move forward. Let's face the truth. The people around us do not have a decisive influence on our happiness level. We are not hostages to circumstances. It is our choice to be where we are now. If we don't like the company we're currently working for or our boss, then we're the only ones who can do something about it. Life design involves taking responsibility for your decisions. You're the one who can start making positive changes to strive toward fulfillment on every level. There are two types of life mindset, according to research by Professor Carol Dweck, University of Stanford: fixed mind and growth mind. People with the first way of thinking believe that each of us has a set of innate talents that we can't change. These people think they will only be able to become an artist if they have this gift from nature. But if they're good at something, it is only due to natural talents rather than the development and improvement of skills. On the contrary, people with the second way of thinking consider that innate abilities and talents are not decisive for achieving success. Although everyone has their starting point, we can all develop and reach heights without limits. We only need to work and improve our skills systematically. They attribute success to hard work and diligence rather than natural endowments. Fixed-minded people often have a more challenging time experiencing failure and don't try to change the situation. They shift responsibility for loss to external circumstances. The good news is that whichever category we are in, we can change it. If you currently have a fixed mindset, it can be retuned to a growth one with practice and training. Whenever you think rigidly, look at the situation from a different angle and suggest what you can do to improve it. Key point 6. Don't resign from your job. Instead, redesign. Sometimes you're bored with your job and hate it. Maybe you started a career and never saw yourself staying there, but somehow many years have passed and you're stuck. Don't quit yet. You don't have to stay at this job forever, nor should you remain in your current position at all costs. However, people often get hot-headed and make rash decisions, not noticing that they can improve the situation while remaining in the same position. Sometimes staying is more effective than starting from scratch. While it may be difficult to redesign our lives, we must remember that completely starting over may be more difficult. Exhausting all your redesign options before opting for an overhaul is better. Life design involves the development of various options and prototypes for the kind of life you want. There are several possible ways to change a situation that does not suit you. Depending on external circumstances, one of these options will work. The first path: relabel and re-enlist. Try to find a second wind in your work. Remember what exactly attracts you to it. Feel free to offer new ideas and solutions. Please determine what you need to feel valued and give it to yourself. Sometimes simple things such as a more comfortable workplace or guaranteed feedback from a boss can improve a situation. Reframing and re-enlisting are excellent ways to make it good enough for now. It's pretty straightforward. Take things as they are. Discover new reasons for doing what you do. Redefine your relationship with work. Refresh your enthusiasm for the position. And discover satisfying reasons to keep you motivated on the job. The second path: redesign. Why not make a structural or even a cosmetic change to the job you already have? That way, you're restructuring and overhauling it. For example, moving to another department or trying a different direction in the same company is about structural changes. It requires extra effort, but can often be the quickest way out of a difficult situation. Life design is a journey. Let go of the end goal and focus on the process and see what happens next. Bill Burnett. Key point 7. Reframe quitting as a choice and leave with a purpose. Nothing stays the same in life forever, and everything has to change at some point. You are unlikely to work for the same company all your life. Change and novelty are necessary for development, so learning to quit the right way is crucial. Quitting can be accomplished in several ways, but they all fall into two categories. The type that burns bridges usually shows someone storming out of the door dramatically without care. No matter how bad things get, it would help if you didn't give in to your base instincts, but walked out the door with your dignity intact and the relationship maintained. Anger and irritation are inappropriate when you inform the company about your leaving. The type that gives 2 weeks' notice is used thousands of times every day and often looks a little like this. 1. The person decides they want to quit. 2. They choose the date they're going to leave. And 3. They respectfully notify the company 2 weeks before the appointed date of their intention. This way of release is correct, but it still could be better. If you're experiencing circumstances that are out of your control, this situation is acceptable. It is not as harmful as the first method, but it's not helpful either. Generative quitting. Reframing is helpful not only in the case of changes in the workplace, but also in the process of changing jobs. It all depends on how you interpret things. You can see the need to leave as something terrible or interpret it as an open door for new opportunities. The end of the old always means the beginning of the new. You have gained experience that you can now use elsewhere. See the layoff as a chance for growth and development. To go to the next stage with satisfaction, we must finish the previous one with gratitude. You certainly have reasons to be grateful for this experience. You only need to pay attention to them. Those who quit generatively understand how crucial it is to leave their employer on good terms. As such, they limit damage and have a much more productive result. Conclusion. Life design is always a work in progress. Not knowing what will happen in the next stage of life is scary in some ways, but thrilling in others. It's what makes the experience of life so exciting. Indeed, sometimes things don't work out, and we need to stop, take a moment, and reevaluate. That often means we have to start over again, but it's okay. However, when you adopt design thinking, you'll always succeed because you always have an idea of where to go next. Your achievements may even exceed your expectations. Designing a life is a never-ending process, and it's never perfect, but sometimes it's good enough. We know that life is concise and far too short to be miserable during your workdays. We all deserve to be satisfied with our work lives. Answer the following. Do you have to force yourself to go to work? Do you feel irritated when communicating with colleagues and bosses? Are you satisfied with your results? Do you feel stressed and anxious after a working day? If the answers to these questions are primarily positive, you may be close to burnout. It is time to take care of yourself. Try this. 1. Write out your work view and your life view. What changes do you need to make in your life and work to ensure that what you do aligns with your values and beliefs? 2. Keep a journal and look for patterns in any physical symptoms you're experiencing, such as backache or headaches. It could signal burnout. And 3. Try to maintain a positive mindset. Reframe any negative thought that crops up.